The concept of global warming being a satanic mission to undermine Jesus is a notion that has sparked intense debate and discussion among various groups, particularly those with strong religious convictions. At its core, this idea suggests that the forces of evil, led by Satan, are orchestrating the environmental crisis we face today as a means to discredit the teachings of Jesus and undermine the Christian faith. To explore this notion, it's essential to first understand the Christian perspective on the environment and Jesus' teachings. In the Bible, God is depicted as the creator of the universe, and humans are given the responsibility to be stewards of the earth. This stewardship is rooted in the idea of taking care of God's creation and ensuring its preservation for future generations. Jesus' teachings emphasize love, compassion, and care for all of God's creations, including the environment. However, the concept of global warming as a satanic mission introduces a more sinister narrative. According to this view, Satan, who is often seen as the embodiment of evil and rebellion against God, seeks to destroy God's creation as a means to undermine Jesus and the Christian faith. By promoting environmental degradation and the destruction of the natural world, Satan aims to turn humans away from their role as stewards of the earth and, by extension, away from God. This idea is often linked to the biblical concept of the end times, where the world faces significant challenges and catastrophes before the second coming of Jesus. In this context, global warming and environmental disasters are seen as signs of the end times, orchestrated by Satan to lead humanity astray and away from the path of righteousness. Proponents of this view point to the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters, such as hurricanes, wildfires, and droughts, as evidence of Satan's influence. They argue that these events are not mere coincidences but rather part of a larger plan to destroy the earth and lead humanity to its downfall. Furthermore, they suggest that the push for environmentalism and the reduction of carbon emissions is, in fact, a satanic plot to control humanity and undermine individual freedoms. However, this perspective raises several concerns and contradictions. Firstly, it implies that God is not in control of the world, and that Satan has the power to manipulate global events to such an extent. This view undermines the concept of God's sovereignty and omnipotence, which is a central tenet of the Christian faith. Moreover, blaming global warming on Satan oversimplifies the complex issues surrounding environmental degradation. It ignores the scientific consensus that human activities, such as the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation, are the primary causes of global warming. By attributing the environmental crisis to a satanic plot, individuals may be less inclined to take personal responsibility for their actions and work towards mitigating the effects of climate change. Finally, this perspective can be divisive and alienating, pitting Christians against environmentalists and scientists. It creates a false dichotomy between faith and science, suggesting that one cannot be a Christian and also care about the environment. In reality, many Christians are actively engaged in environmental activism, seeing it as a way to live out their faith and fulfill their role as stewards of the earth. In conclusion, while the idea of global warming as a satanic mission to undermine Jesus may resonate with some, it is a notion that is fraught with contradictions and concerns. It oversimplifies the complex issues surrounding environmental degradation, undermines the concept of God's sovereignty, and creates divisions between faith and science. Instead, Christians can work towards a more nuanced understanding of the environmental crisis, one that recognizes the role of human actions and the importance of stewardship, while also acknowledging the spiritual dimensions of creation care. By doing so, they can fulfill their role as stewards of the earth, care for God's creation, and work towards a more sustainable future for all.